Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. According to a report, Kevin Durant is planning to sign with the Brooklyn Nets and team up with Kyrie Irving. Now, the Warriors were able to offer him a 5-year, $221 million deal. Durant can sign a 4-year, $164 million deal with the Nets, but the reported deal right now is 4 years, $142. We'll get more clarification on that as we continue to develop this story, but this just in, Kevin Durant planning to sign with the Brooklyn Nets. Goodness gracious. Way to go, Sean Marks. Way to go, Mikhail Prokhorov. And they're also reportedly going to get DeAndre Jordan, so that's going to be the big three in Brooklyn. Hakeem Dermish here with Eric Casillas as we take you through free agency frenzy. Kevin Durant to the Nets.
It really is a 3-year, $142 million
right, exactly.
deal.
That's
because
exactly
he is
right.
not going to play next year now that he has the torn Achilles. So it's a 3-year, $142 million deal, and you don't get him next year. I'm a little surprised he leaves at least 1 year and $57 million on the table because he could have gotten an extra year and at least $57 million more in a deal, but decides apparently, according to the reports, and there are multiple reports now, that he is going to be a Net. You and I talked, and we had our earlier show, we first got wind that this could be Nets when we saw the Vegas odds that were even money, Nets versus everybody else this morning, and those guys don't take wagers because they don't know what's going on. They said Nets, 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 and now it looks like that's where he's going to end up. How do you feel today if you're a Net fan knowing he's not going to play next year, and now you've basically maxed out with a guy that's going to be 32 years old, not played for a year, coming back from a serious injury?
Well, my first instant reaction is, what the hell, Knicks? That's my first reaction. Like, we thought we were getting these two guys, and now he's going down the road to Brooklyn. I mean, that's what you first thought. And you thought it was going to be Kyrie and Katie and Zion Williamson. Now it's Kate. Now they're going to the other New York team. So that's what I'm thinking.
And you and I were both right when we said, why this deal's 164, it's not 142. There were reports that it was 142. Now we're getting confirmation.
Correct. And that's
$164 million. So that's a max. That's a super max deal he could have had for 1 more year and $57 million. But he leaves an extra year. He could have signed a 5-year deal at Golden State and gotten $57 extra million. But he takes that year and that $57 million off to go, in fact, to the Nets. So it looks like Kevin Durant is going to Brooklyn. Let's bring in Reed Forgrave and find out exactly. Oh, no, let's go Bill Ryder. Well, we might as well go to the source. Bill Ryder. We talked to him earlier. Bill Ryder said, hey, when Vegas says even money Nets, could be Nets. Now we're hearing it is Nets. Your first reaction to the fact that the Nets are giving him $164 million, essentially for 3 years, because he's not going to play this coming year.
Yeah, my first reaction is the Brooklyn Nets are the big winner so far in free agency, and the New York Knicks are still the New York Knicks. Players want to go to organizations where they feel like they can win, and Brooklyn has put together a really impressive culture, a group of young role players that are going to be paired with Kevin Durant. A year from now, as you guys were saying, they're going to have some sunken costs to let him make a whole lot of money while he rehabs that ruptured Achilles. They'll have Kyrie Irving, and it's going to be a real interesting basketball team a year from now, a year and change, in Brooklyn, New York. They're the rising power right now in the Eastern Conference.
Bill, I'm curious what we're going to get. I know we're going to be talking about this all next season, but I guess my first initial reaction to the Kevin Durant news, and wherever he was going to go, is what are we going to get from Kevin Durant when he comes back? He's going to be 32 when he comes back to the NBA and plays with the Brooklyn Nets, of course, if that's what ends up happening here. But what are we going to get out of him? Because we've seen guys who've had Achilles injuries like Kobe Bryant, like Dominique Wilkins. We've seen guys that have come back and they've been a former shell of themselves. So what actually are we going to see, do you think, out of Kevin Durant when he does, in fact, return?
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins, and you're right. It's a great question. There's a lot of interesting parts of this because KD is a guy, even in a vacuum, you'd be worried about this ruptured Achilles. He's had a history of some injury issues, and as you said, he's going to be 32 years old. That is an age where guys start to break down. Now, I know we're in an age with Tom Brady and Roger Federer, and the medicine and the money behind professional athletics means guys are playing longer into their careers at a higher level. I think it's a real concern. And again, if you're the Nets, you celebrate, you throw out the party favors, let the confetti fall. It's a great day, but there's that concern for Kevin Durant. And the reality is that KD and Russell Westbrook in their primes couldn't win an NBA championship. I think it still remains to be seen how Kyrie Irving and KD on a team together are going to fare, how it's going to go, what's going to happen for that organization. So congratulations to those guys. Doesn't mean that it's a sure thing. KD's injury and how he fits with Kyrie are certainly going to be critical questions in the years ahead.
All right, the big news on free agency Sunday as it begins. Kevin Durant planning to sign with the Brooklyn Nets. We're joined now by our team of experts, Bill Ryder, the host of Ryder's Block, CBS Sports NBA analyst Reed Forgrave, and all Big Ten forward out of Northwestern, former all Big Ten out of Northwestern, Tim Doyle. I'll start with you, Bill, here. Your reaction, Kevin Durant signing with the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible day for the Brooklyn Nets. It's a hell of a haul on the opening of free agency. They're going to pair him with Kyrie Irving, and at least for the moment, they're the big winners in this free agency class, despite the obvious questions about what KD is going to look like when he comes back, presumably in the next 12 months, whether or not that Achilles injury is going to have the kind of impact we've seen, the negative impact it can have on players. I also think, guys, it's going to be interesting down the line. Just friendly reminder to optimistic Nets fans, and you should be celebrating. KD at his prime and Russell Westbrook at his prime, together were not able to win an NBA championship. Kyrie and KD together are amazing on paper. That's an incredible EA Sports NBA Jam team. We'll see what it is on the floor. It's probably going to be really successful, but we thought that about Kyrie when he went to Boston. So a lot of questions in the years ahead to actually turn this tandem and a nice group of players around this tandem now in Brooklyn into a championship contender, at least in the short term. Very good day for that Nets organization.
Tim Doyle, do you share the optimism? I mean, I understand it's better than just being 42-40 every year, which is kind of the worst thing in the NBA. But Kevin Durant, you're giving him 3 years for $164 million. We could say 4, but it's 3 years because he's not going to play next year. You got to wait till 2022. You're going to have a locker room with KD and his ghost Twitter accounts and Kyrie Irving, and we think this is going to bring us an NBA title. Are you as optimistic as maybe some other people are?
I'll tell you this right now. I will go on the record at freezing cold takes. The Brooklyn Nets will not win an NBA title with these two guys suited up for them, but they will sell a lot of tickets. They will put a lot of fannies in the seats there. Everybody's leaving Manhattan right now. Well, that was 10 years ago, right? Going to Park Slope, going to Williamsburg. Brooklyn's the hottest place right now, and I have called games at the Barclays Center. I called that wild game between Alabama and Minnesota, and it was so hyped in an arena that was, frankly, half empty. There's an electricity there that the Alabama players just ran off the bench, and Colin Sexton almost won a game by himself, 3-on-5, with all that buzz and all that electricity in that arena. Now you add in these two superstars, they're going to sell a lot of tickets, they're going to create a lot of buzz. Their ticket office right now is doing the Pelicans ticket office dance that they were doing a couple of weeks ago. So this is a great business move, but you bring in a very sensitive athlete who creates fake Twitter accounts to go after trolls, and you bring in a 27-year-old Kyrie Irving, who I think is more concerned about being Uncle Drew than working on his game. I think that he wants to be all up in the videos, dancing, singing, and now he goes back to his hometown. Oh, this seems like a nasty recipe for really good on paper, not so good on the court.
All right, Reed. Now, Reed, you sell me on the other side of it. Why will this work? Why will Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving team up and have success in Brooklyn? Sell me on that if you can.
Because it's Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Look, there's a big asterisk next to this, and that asterisk is, will Kevin Durant come back from his Achilles tear like Dominique Wilkins and not like so many other athletes who've been a shell of themselves? This is betting on that, yes, Kevin Durant will come back as at least a semblance of that player, at the very least a top 10 player in the NBA, if not still a potentially best basketball player on earth. But look, Kyrie Irving, yeah, he's wacky, right? Kevin Durant, yeah, he's sensitive. He's going to have issues with the New York media. They couldn't have been any bigger than the issues that he's had with all the other media over the past year when they've been speculating about where he would go on June 30th. Here he is. He's going to Brooklyn, and this is a team, and I've said this again and again over the past several days, this is a team that has instituted an awesome culture under Sean Marks. This isn't just an NBA Jam team. This is an NBA Jam team. This is also an NBA Jam team that has one of the best three-point shooters in Joe Harris, that has an absolute stud backup point guard in Spencer Dinwiddie, that has an awesome young big man in Jared Allen. What Sean Marks has done here has been almost akin to a different version of the process. He's slowly built a culture in Brooklyn. Whether these two can add to it, I think, on a basketball sense, is unquestionable. To me, the Brooklyn Nets just became the 2021 NBA championship.
Yeah. Piggybacking on what Reed said, no NBA insider in the country, I think, has been more skeptical of both Kevin Durant's sensitivities and Kyrie Irving's off-puttedness as teammates. That is a real thing, and they'll have to navigate it. But in navigating it, they're still one of the 4 to 6 best teams in the NBA. The moment Kevin Durant steps on that floor, you take that chance every single time. If you're any team in the NBA, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, which have been mired in losing and second-class citizenship in New York City for almost the entirety of your existence, this is nothing short of an absolute win. And while I want to see the pieces of other teams and see what it looks like, and I'm not probably taking Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving as my first choice for an NBA championship, there is no doubt, is beyond a doubt, they are NBA title contenders the moment KD is healthy.
All right, what does it say to you, Bill? I'll have you follow up here, that Kevin Durant left 1 year and $57 million on the table to basically buy his way out of Golden State? I mean, he took a year and $57 million and said, no, thank you. What does that say to you?
A couple things. I think sometimes we make too much of the money these guys make in their NBA contracts because we can quantify that. There are all kinds of calculations that go into when they have conversations with Nike, with Adidas, if you're Kawhi, with New Balance in terms of what market they should be in. New teams lead to new merchandise. They get a cut of that. So I don't think KD is hurting for money. I do think another takeaway, guys, is the reality that Andre Iguodala gave us on his book tour when he talked about Iggy's own problematic situation and perspective on that medical staff, how they handled his injury a year ago, and what it might have said about Kevin Durant. Tim said it earlier. It is 100% true. KD is the most oversensitive, thin-skinned superstar, major superstar, maybe in sports, certainly in the NBA. And that's on things that shouldn't matter. Some guy with 37 Twitter followers saying something about KD on Twitter. If he has real reason to believe the Warriors jeopardized his health, his career, his ability to be excellent down the line, to say nothing of hundreds of millions of dollars, that sensitivity would certainly manifest itself in a outcome that is basically, to hell with you guys, I'm going somewhere else.
Look, what Bill says about the money is absolutely correct. We try to reduce all this to just dollars and cents. $57 million to Kevin Durant, that's a sizable chunk of a money, but he can get that money in other sources, namely from shoe endorsements. The fact that Kevin Durant is a sensitive dude plays into another part of his personality. He cares what other people think. And he was genuinely hurt. I've talked to him about this. He was genuinely hurt by the fact that when he left OKC and joined this super team in Golden State, he became the villain of the NBA. He hated that. He had a really difficult time processing that just as a human being, just like you and me probably would. The fact that this is now the third chapter of his career and that he can now write a new story, maybe bring a championship to a team that's been downtrodden for as long as we can remember, that's another thing that we will remember Kevin Durant by. And believe me, Kevin Durant cares about things like his legacy. He cares about things like what we say about him. He cares about what his reputation is.
Tim, I want to bring you back into the conversation here because you're a New Yorker, and I know that you were a little bit sad for New York and the fact that they didn't win the lottery. They didn't get Zion Williamson. New Orleans got him. And now they don't get Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. And to make matters worse, he goes down the road to Brooklyn. I mean, if you're the Knicks right now, you're James Dolan, you're a Knicks fan, you're feeling like, at this point, you're just, what the hell?
Yeah, you may be feeling that short term because no doubt about it, the Nets have won the day and they have won all the back pages of the New York Post and the Daily News, and they're going to win all the media nationally for the day. But the Knicks got R.J. Barrett. They won 17 games. They're going to win more than that the upcoming season. They're building a foundation. You know, when I look at what the Nets did, it reminds me a little bit of Braveheart when they built those really long sticks. And William Wallace said, hold, hold, hold. And they went all in on a guy coming off an Achilles in his 30s and all in on Kyrie Irving, who wanted to get traded after winning a championship in Cleveland, goes to Boston, and they actually get worse when he's on the floor. So when they went all in, when they stuck it all in, oh, yeah, like these are the two guys you go to bat with, where D'Angelo Russell making the playoffs, building a culture there. I would love to sit Kenny Atkinson down, their head coach. Him and I are from the same neighborhood, St. Anthony's High School. I've been on the court with him 50 times in my playing career when I was much younger than him, worked out with him. And I don't know if I could get a straight answer from him. But what they did by signing Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant was all about business. I don't think championship matter as much as the dollar signs did, and that's why the Nets made this move.
Guys, I got to respectfully disagree with my colleague. I mean, this is the Kyrie Kevin Durant combo is considered with every NBA executive around the country as more than just a business play, though it certainly is going to sell tickets. It's a championship contender, and the Knicks, with all respect to Knicks fans, they're a joke in the NBA. R.J. Barrett is widely unproven. That organization is poorly run. This is nothing short of an utter disaster again for James Dolan. James Dolan would give his left arm. He would give everything but maybe that band to have the situation the Nets have right now today. This is more than just a business play for the Brooklyn Nets. They're now contenders once KD comes back in that Eastern Conference. There's a reason a multitude of teams would have given KD a whole bunch of money the moment 3:01 Pacific time, 6:01 Eastern time strikes tonight. Not because they want to sell tickets, because if you have Kevin Durant, even if you have to give up a year, you're a contender because he is the second or third best player on the face of the earth.
Yeah, but Bill, I'll stay with you right here. Couldn't you see a scenario here where Kyrie and KD doesn't work out and the Knicks end up looking like winners because they decided not to go after them? Or in this situation, maybe they just didn't get chosen to have those two players. Could in any situation the Knicks look like winners maybe a couple years from now?
Yes and no. Yes, I could see a situation where Kyrie and Kevin Durant don't work out in the sense they don't lift that trophy. No, I don't think there's a scenario where the New York Knicks are winners today, striking out utterly and totally in free agency. I don't think R.J. Barrett and a collection of so-so young players is going to lead the Knicks anywhere near the postseason. That's how we'll measure the Knicks for the next few years. How we'll measure the Nets is whether or not they make or win an NBA championship. So when the Nets 2 years from now lose in the semifinals in the Eastern Conference, if it's the worst case scenario, which I think could happen, or they lose in a conference finals, that will still be light years ahead of whatever the Knicks are experiencing over the next few years.
Well done, gentlemen. I like the different perspectives. You got to be at least happy if you're a Nets fan, hope, and thinking 2021 could be very interesting. And if you're a Knicks fan, you feel like the old school Cubs. Wait till next year. Wait till next year. Wait till next year. And maybe one of those years will be next year.